Let me apologize for keeping you here. I think I'll have to semi-apologize to Chris. The kissing of the S is a big deal to us, and I hope it doesn't offend other people because we've done it when we lost. But there's memories. I've been involved in some great memories, but coming back from where we were and the way the season was going and what everybody was going through, this has to go down as one of the great memory-making moments. I thought our guys played very well for 75% of the game. I thought we got a little sloppy, a little crazy with threes. I mean, Rock starts banking him in. He thinks he can bounce him in from anywhere, but God love him because the way he played, second half, I thought he played really under control. And I didn't think we did a very good job of getting Cassius any shots the first half, and that was a problem. I think he had 5, and that was one of the things we talked about at halftime. But when we defended well and didn't take bad shots, we were really playing well. And on that stretch, once we got the 12, 13-point lead in the first half, I thought we did both those things poorly. But I thought all in all, to rebound with them, that is a very good team, a very well-coached team. I think they, too, when you win 9 out of 11 games in this league, it speaks volumes. But I'd like to finish by saying I want to thank our fans. I've been involved in a lot of great senior nights since I started doing it after the game. Been involved with a couple sad ones when we lost. But for the people to stay like they did tonight, I just don't think we lost anybody but the OSU fans. And for that, I'm greatly appreciative to our fans. It was a special moment for all their families, especially Cassius's. And, he sure did come through in the second half. Xavier's been a rock the entire time. Aaron Henry came through with some big plays late. We still got some work to do. We turned it over a little bit early, then we didn't turn it over much after that. But I'm just going to enjoy this win till tomorrow morning. Questions?
Tom, to have Cassius be able to celebrate a senior night like that with a win and with a good performance himself, what does that mean to you?
Well, it means the world to me because, like I said, I thought, maybe he'd force shots and do things. And at halftime, I was on him about, you got to get more involved. You got to get the ball back in your hands. We got to play through you a little bit more. And that's when I told Rock and Aaron they got to get Cassius some shots, which they did a little better job of the second half. But, that team's a good team, man. Weston's a down low. Washington, he's going to be a hell of a player there. He's done a great job. We put a lot into trying to stop him and didn't really stop him, but semi-neutralized him. But the little guard, he played really well, too. What? I know his number. I don't know. Walker. Yeah, Walker played, I thought, really, really well and gave us some fits at times.
You mentioned about some of the other guys besides Cassius. How much of their development over the last 2 to 3 weeks has been because of him, and how much of it has just been because of what they've done?
That's a good question. Some of it is because of what they've done, but some of it is because Cassius is getting more and more and more people involved. I thought early on our break was dynamite, and he was getting guys shots, and he was getting guys baskets, and he was spreading the court. I just thought Cassius, he had a little hip in his hop, and he really did. I told you he's been practicing better for a couple weeks, but I can finally say now that the year's over, I couldn't do what he did. And yet it's my job to push him to do more, but I could not have done what he did. And tribute to his mom, his dad, and him. So,
Coach, about 3 weeks ago, you said it'd take a miracle to win the Big Ten. Was it a miracle, or did you guys just get back to basics, back to Michigan State basketball? And where does this one rank, this Big Ten title, in your 25 years here?
I think it was a little bit of both. It was a miracle. Me getting this job was a miracle, so miracles do happen. But, I do think we earned the right to have Maryland lose a game, which opened the door for us. And the reason I say that, I said it to you then, I say it now, when you beat Iowa at home, when you go on the road and beat Maryland and Penn State, you've earned the right for something good to happen. That doesn't mean it would. And I didn't think we did earn the right up until then. And I said it publicly. Just one of those funny years where, if you ask me how good we are, I still don't know. I think we're getting better and we're really solid defensively. But I still say the whole country's kind of like us. I'm not scared of anybody we could play. But I'm not feel good about anybody we could play, if that makes sense. I think that's the way it is. And the Big Ten tournament could be as big as the Final Four tournament when you look at the teams that could be in there and who you're going to have to beat to move on. So we got a lot of work ahead of us. But the miracle was, we got back to, we were good defensively all year. I think we got back to running a little better. We rebounded a little better in those games. Started shooting the ball a little better. We shot 48 today, only 30 from the three, and that was all because in that one stretch we took 5 or 6 that I thought were bad threes. But that's the way it is. When I sit back and look at him, 10's an awesome number. It's an awesome number. And, as I think about it now and think how awesome it is, 11 would be even a nicer number. So we'll just kind of look the next year and try to keep things rolling. But because of everything, it's got to rank right up there as one of the greatest achievements by a team. That's the players. That's not me. The players did their job. The players put up with things. The players, they rallied behind, And I said today that you got to, it was funny having Steve Smith and DJ back in a meeting this morning. And, 30 years ago, Steve and DJ christened this place with a championship in 89-90. And now, you just try to keep the dreams alive, keep the footprints getting printed, and that's what we're trying to do. But I don't know if you can ever rate them, I've been lucky. When you got Cleaves and Winston as your 2 point guards on teams that win 3 in a row, coach doesn't have to do much work.
Senior day always seems to be emotional, but this one seemed to have a little bit of an added luster to it. Can you just describe your thoughts after that final embrace with Cassius after he kissed the court?
Yeah, I think back to Mateen and Morris and those guys, because those are guys that started this whole thing for me. But I think on what Cassius has been through and what even Xavier and even, I got Josh down there sitting there, didn't miss a practice, a meeting, a film session all year. It was ridiculous. I started telling him, don't come. It was embarrassing. 7 o'clock in the morning, he's hopping along on his scooter, in the winter. And but I think that's what this team became. They're a bunch of good guys, a bunch of good students. I didn't think the toughest group I've ever had. And I think they started to get tougher. I think Rock brings a little bit of that. I thought Malik brought a little bit of that, and Xavier brought a lot of that. And so it was a lot of things going through my mind in that last 2 minutes. So much so that I almost screwed up and didn't get Cassius in there. Thank God for Jack Hoiberg. No wonder he's a 3-8 student, fouling the guy. But I wanted Cash to enjoy every second he could be on that court.
Tom, with all the extenuating circumstances going on with the team, how much do you feel you've grown as a person and as a coach?
That's what I said. Listen, it's hard to understand me because I'm a guy that does wear his emotions on my sleeve, but I love my players, and I love them so much that I'm willing to take some heat for them. I think there's, I had to grow this year. I didn't do a very good job the first 3 months, in my humble opinion, just because I didn't know how to handle certain situations. And but I didn't quit trying to learn. I didn't quit trying to talk to people. I didn't quit trying to call friends around the country. And I just, I think the greatest thing, though, is somehow, some way, Cash's parents, reached down and helped me to understand some things, and it's not been easy. The most difficult year I've had, but probably when it's all said and done, the most rewarding for me as a coach, for me as a father, for me as a friend, and hopefully I'll do a better job with certain things if those things ever happen again.
Tom, this is the second time you've won 3 Big Ten titles in a row. I go back to 40. Can't recall any other coach who's done that. How do you feel about that, and what do you think?
I'm sorry,
Mike,
I didn't hear the beginning of it.
This is the second time you've won 3 Big Ten championships in a row.
Oh, wow.
I
Forgot
think
about
you
that.
may be the only coach that's ever done that. I go back to 40, and I can't find any.
Wow. Well, unfortunately, I keep saying that damn NCAA and damn officials, I didn't get to win any of them. I didn't make a shot or do anything, but I had some hellacious teams that fought through some things. It's not easy to win one, but what's really difficult is sustain some kind of excellence of championship level play. And, it's an honor to win it with Maryland and Wisconsin. I mean, Maryland was the front runner, and they lost a few and bounced back, and Wisconsin went through, some things of their own, and I give those guys credit too. The league's so good, you probably should have to share the championship. There were so many good teams, and but to win 3 of them back to back to back is special because there's pressure on you. Everybody's hunting you. It was shirt night everywhere we went, Everywhere we went. It was, my poor kid, he kept robbing shirts. He thought he was collecting them at those places. I said, no, that's for those people, And but I'm sure I'm going to sit down and feel awfully proud of that because I know how difficult it is to sustain a level, the 23 NCAA things this year, that'll be something to sustain at a level that few programs get to do, and I'm appreciative of the players I've had that have helped me do that.
Tom, in hindsight, what was your level of concern at times that between the guys and yourself that it was going to be a level of emotional exhaustion that there might not be a bounce back from,
You mean earlier in the year, or you mean today? Yeah. It was the most emotional year I've ever gone through. I mean, I really do believe I slept less this year than any year, and nobody's fault. It was just the things that happened. And but I learned that mental exhaustion is a factor, and probably will do a better job with myself, my kids, everyone else, because I think we were mentally exhausted some nights, more so than physically. And so becoming a bigger fan of learning more about that I have to learn to be a great coach, and that's what I plan on doing in the off season. But there were times I didn't know if we had enough left in us. I really did. I didn't know where Cash would be, and we were so young, and that's another adjustment I had to make. We started having more meetings, and I kept telling my staff, you don't understand, we've never played this many freshmen, because I included some of those sophomores as freshmen, and guys that had no experience, and yet to still keep it at that level, I think speaks volumes of Cassius Winston and Xavier Tillman, because Arnie wasn't even a part of some of that, But those guys and those young guys, I mean, that Rocket, man, he defended like nobody's tomorrow, and so he banked that one in. I said, well, anybody can bank one in, And he banked the second one in, and then I thought hurried a couple. He gets so excited, and I said to him, if those didn't bank in, you'd be 1 for 7. He goes, I got you, Coach, I got you. And, you can laugh, and I'd laugh myself, but that kid is learning, and that kid wants to learn, and that kid is he is competitive, and that's what I love about kids like that. They're, you know, it's the competitiveness reminds me of the Cleveses of the world back then, the Applings of the world, the guys that are just Travis Waltons that are just dogs on defense, and then he's finding a way to get his offense going. And I mean, his future, he's going to just get better and better and better, and he'll learn, and he'll get frustrated sometimes. I'll get frustrated sometimes, but I ain't trading him. He's not in the portal.
Tom, in like the last minute, Kyle gets the ball at the top of the circle. He's matched up with his brother on senior day. I just wonder, that seemed like a cool little way to end it out for him. What were you thinking? What did you see in a moment like
Oh, it'd
that?
been cool if he went by him and dunked it or made the three. I mean, but it was pretty cool. You know, the players all said, hey, I think his brother's going to guard him. Just let those two have it. And you know what? It's exactly what I did. Kyle deserves a lot. I mean, he's 5 years. I mean, what he's been through. I feel bad for normal fans or media that really don't get to see the rehab and the things that some of these guys have gone through. It's been different than most years, you know. I mean, you always have some injuries, but his injuries have been 5-6 years worth. And kid is tougher than nails. And, you know, once he started playing again, it was we couldn't practice him. And then we just said, Kyle, this is it, man. There's no more tomorrows. You know, if you play good, you'll be able to play some more. If you don't play good, your career's over anyway. I don't think he missed another practice, and he has been he has done so much for Rocket Watts. It's amazing. And you talk about, you know, I look at those two as, you know, like the banker and the Beverly Hillbillies and Jed. You know, they're from opposite ends of the world. You know, a city guy in Rock and a farmer in Arnie, and the bond that those guys have got has been amazing. It's been one of the neater things that I've dealt with, and I'm sure Rock would say that, and I'm sure Arnie would say that. But I appreciate Kyle Arns for not quitting on me and not quitting on himself, because he won some games for us, and he's won a lot in practice for us, and that's the part that's so impressive. Guys, gals, ladies, thanks. Hell of a year. Look forward to seeing you in Indy. I'm going to go home and have some pizza.